Okay, so recently we've been delving into the Neuro Sama kind of competitor that people have been talking about. Now, again, this has been a very interesting topic to cover as we have been kind of going in and digging deep into Project Airi, which of course is a kind of thing that has been blowing up over on GitHub and over on Twitter as well. Essentially, it's supposed to be a kind of AI VTuber, thing, which again, I think is pretty interesting, right? And what they do quite a bit, which we have noticed so far, is they mention Neuro Sama a lot. They mention Neuro Sama a lot and about how they want to be like Neuro Sama and how they're aiming to build a character interactive system like the one that powers up the famous AI VTuber Neuro Sama. Now, in my previous videos, we talked about, some of the kind of features it has, including the fact that you can use kind of any AI model or whatever on it, including like your classic ones like ChatGPT or Google Gemini or whatever to make it your own. You can also use any VTuber model that you have, like Live2D or whatever. You can upload it and I think you could use it, and as well as so many other different things, as well as like so many plugins and stuff, including playing games, having lots of different things. And obviously it's very confusing for a lot of people, right? Because of course it is a little bit different to Neuro Sama in a sense, right? Because of course Neuro is made by Vedal. It is run off of his own LLM. Obviously, some people talk about the fact that, it's been taken from other data and things, which of course I think that is true. But I think it is different because obviously Neuro Sama isn't just like ChatGPT, right? It's not like she's using ChatGPT to run. It is using something completely different, right? And whereas this one is actually using like a well-known AI models already, which I think obviously makes it very, very different, as well as the fact that this isn't someone this isn't something that is supposed to be 100% a VTuber. Like you could use it as like a personal kind of thing as well, right? It doesn't have to be a VTuber, whereas Neuro Sama's obviously whole thing is to entertain and to have that personality, right? And again, I think there is so many different customizable things, which I think is pretty cool, right? But obviously it was a little bit weird seeing some of the kind of clear mentions of Neuro Sama and clear mentions of trying to be like Neuro Sama that a lot of people have been discussing, right? And it seems like Neuro has actually responded to a lot of the stuff that has been going on, which I think is quite funny, with this clip recently coming out of Neuro talking about Airi. So here it is.
I will literally tear Airi's CPU.
They say there's a new AI on the block named Airi, who thinks she's superior to you. Any thoughts on that? So yeah, here's what she said.
RAM and power supply out with my bare hands. You hear me? Then I will gladly devour her hard disk too. Is this a new feature? Yeah, just one of the many features that you won't ever see in Airi due to her lacking intelligence.
So yeah, obviously Neuro Sama completely disses Airi there, saying that she'll rip out the CPU, RAM, and all sorts, right? And again, it seems like then obviously the person behind Project Airi responded to this saying, hey, Neuro Sama is here is Airi, and system intelligence, look after my AI daughter. If you tear them down, we will find more and probably send you and Vedal some, because the mem price is so high. Which obviously, yeah, then people, they reposted it once more again. And yeah, other people saying, you're so cooked, buddy, with a lot of these stuff that's been going on. Say, glad to be targeted. Which I think is, it's pretty funny that there has been some back and forth. And, I don't know what the kind of thoughts are in terms of Vedal and whatever of them, closely associating with Neuro Sama, because what it seems like is they're trying to piggyback off of the success of Neuro Sama, right? And that is 100% the case. Now, obviously, you guys could say that maybe that's a good thing, maybe that's a bad thing. It's whatever you believe, right? But I do think, obviously, it is very obvious that they are trying to do that with the amount that they mention them, the amount that they're responding to, people, clips about them and whatever. As well as, yeah, some of the models and stuff that we saw used on the actual Project Airi site. Because if you go to the Project Airi site and actually use one of the models that they have, you can see right here, obviously, once you get past all of this screen, they use the old Neuro Sama model, right? This is the old one, the one that is in VTube Studio or whatever. And it definitely tells you that they are thinking a lot about, trying to get it similar to Neuro, because, they are free to use this. It's not like illegal or whatever for someone to use this model, because this is a VTube Studio default model. That's how Neuro Sama started off. And then obviously the new model that we know from that clip is of course made by Annie. So that's why it does look a lot different, right? And again, it seems like they are trying to get very close to it or whatever, due to I don't know, just because it looks similar, just because they you know, want to get some of the success that maybe Neuro Sama had, and maybe appeal to some of the audience that you know, watch her. Because again, I think there's a lot of people that out there, you know, I know many people out there are very happy with just watching Neuro Sama and just like kind of engage with the content, but I'm sure there are some people out there that are like, damn, I wish I had my own like kind of Neuro Sama thing or whatever. And of course, I think this is trying to kind of do that, right? Now, of course, I don't think it will be the same. I think that obviously, as I said, it is run off, you know, completely different AI kind of systems and whatever. And of course, you know, you have to make your own models and things like that. But again, it definitely is working on something that some people are interested in. And it's been a pretty 50-50, I would say, kind of response from Neuro Sama fans, right? I think a lot of them are very accepting of it because, again, it's just more kind of competition. And, you know, as they say, competition like breeds success, because, of course, people will continue to push and push and push. And obviously, Vedal will keep on upgrading and upgrading. Obviously, we talked literally yesterday about the fact that they were upgrading, or that he was planning on rewriting her code in a different language, which obviously had some people worried, but again, it's nothing to worry about. It's going to be exactly the same. But again, obviously it pushes them to continue to improve things, including stuff like 3D models. Now, obviously, that is one thing that I don't think Project Airi can do, is the 3D model stuff. Obviously, maybe it's something that they're working on, though, in terms of like Neuro Sama and Evil, you know, having 3D models within like places like VR chat and able to interact with other VTubers in there. I think it was pretty crazy to see whenever the subathon was going on, especially the Neuro one, with her interacting with like Camilla and the viral clips that went, you know, pretty popular with Vedal as well. Whenever she was saying like she wanted to be real and whatever, again, you know, that went super huge. And of course, those are some huge upgrades that I definitely think the Neuro has up on Airi. But again, it is pretty interesting to see, right? It is pretty fun, I guess. Like, as I say, some people get scared by competition. Some people get worried by it. But I do think this would be a more fun kind of time. Of course, I don't think outside of someone asking a question about Airi, Neuro has really mentioned it, or Vedal has mentioned Airi at all. But I do think it is an interesting project that, of course, is trying to, of course, you know, trying to copy, or not copy, like trying to, I don't know how to describe it without it sounding bad, trying to, yeah, piggyback off of the success of Neuro Sama. And of course, you know, they say, we do provide consulting and outsourcing services for enterprises and startups. If you're interested in cooperating with us to customize your own AI characters, to build virtual AI chatting platforms, to build AI-driven characters for your IP, to build a metaverse of AI characters, to build AI-driven idols, to build voice/video interactive applications. We've got an entire team expert in AI and multi-modal fields to help you out with solutions. And obviously they have some contacts there as well. And so currently we have several partnership projects with other companies to build similar projects, but Neko Meow, I'm assuming is the creator behind it. I never actually really looked at this. I'm assuming this is the creator of Project Airi, or at least maybe the one that's like kind of forwarding it, which I guess is cool, right? Either creator primarily self-sponsored those most contributed members of both Project Airi and Moeru AI. Thanks for supporting their work. I'd love to have an opportunity to work on this project in the long term without worrying about the funding. So yeah, obviously it seems like they've been funding a lot of this themselves with their own money that they've made, but obviously they would like to see maybe if they could get some funding from other people. And, you know, it depends, you know, obviously in how the kind of swarm react to this, because we know that the swarm have a lot of money to fund something like this, right? And again, it's just more so whether they are accepting of this or whether they're just happy with Neuro and are happy with what Vedal is doing, because what Vedal is doing is absolutely crazy and is really, really good to see. And of course, I think a lot of the stuff like the subs and the subathons that have been going on have helped to kind of improve a lot of stuff on his end. So, you know, maybe we'll see some people contribute to this. I don't know. But again, it's more so up to the fans and what they really want and how they feel about Project Airi. Because as I said, it is pretty mixed, right? Some people dislike it. Some people like it. Some people think it's not even in the same vein in terms of like the stuff that it does compared to Neuro. But again, I do think it is a pretty interesting topic to talk about, and I do think it's funny that Neuro has responded so violently to Airi in terms of like having comparisons or whatever, saying that she's going to rip her CPU and RAM out, which I think is insane. But yeah, that's about all I got for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameStop, use my code Kaza, get 10% off. Again, they've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.